Hello guys, thanks for dropping by. Today's session is about the JavaScript ability to extend itself. In JavaScript, we have some functions like array, date, and object, and they provide a very rich set of API, but sometimes you might want to add a couple of methods to them. So in today's video, we're gonna see how you can extend the existing API of JavaScript. Let's assume that I have a details method which is doing nothing right now. It's just accepting an array input, and it is now finding the sum of all the array elements. So for finding the sum, I'm using the reduce method, and I'm supplying 0 as the initial value of this accumulator variable. So initial value of accumulator going to be 0, and the current value refers to the very first element of the array in first iteration. So the initial value is 0, and then it is adding the value supplied, and it is repeating the same thing again and over again for all the array items, right? So this is how it is finding the sum, and once I have the sum, it is quite easy for me to find out the average. All I have to do is that simply divide the sum with the total number of elements in there, right? I also want to find out the standard deviation, and once I have the square sum, it is now fairly easy to find out the standard deviation. All I have to do is simply call the math.sqrt squared sqrt method, and I'm just dividing the square sum with the total number of elements in the array. And last thing that I'm doing is returning an whole object, and this object has 3 important properties, and these are the properties that we have calculated. I can use this is the ECMAScript syntax, meaning the sum will become the property, and the value basically is the value that the sum variable holds. Just applying sum, meaning that this is the name of the property. I can simply call the details method, right? And I have to pass, right, an array as an argument. So this array which has 5 elements in it, and let me open up my terminal and let me execute this JavaScript. When I press enter, it gave me the sum of first 5 numbers starting from 1 is 15, and the average is 3, and the more importantly, it found out the standard deviation of first 5 numbers, right? So this is a standalone method, so you can pass this around, and in your application you can have a global scope and you can put that over there. But there's in my opinion, a better way. The better way is to extend the array function itself so that it would become the part of the JavaScript library. Array.prototype, and then the name of the method. So in this case, it's going to be details, and then the definition of the function, right? What I can do is that I can simply copy the definition of this function. Let me copy this here, let me cut it in fact, and let me paste it over here, and we do not need the details function. And here I was passing an argument that was the array itself. I no longer need this, right? And here we are referring the array input. I don't need this because within the details method, now that this keyword or this variable will refer to the array itself, right? So I don't need to have the any input, and same is the case here. Let me remove all the occurrences of array, these 2 more, 1 and this dot reduce. Okay. Excuse me. So this implementation is same as before, but this is more managed, right? What I'm doing is that I'm accessing the prototype. Prototype is a property that every object in JavaScript has, right? and I'm adding one more property in its prototype object. So it is details, and this is a definition. So now you might be wondering as to how can we use this. Now let me go ahead and create a constant array. So this is going to have the 5 value from 1 to 5, right? And now all I need to do, I need to call details method, right? I do not need to pass any argument to it, because the detail method is now the part of the array itself, right? So within the detail methods, this variable or this keyword is pointing to this array variable itself, right? And it is returning an object here. So I can say, okay, here's a result. I can capture the result. I can put it in a variable and console this out. Okay, so let me run the same application, and you see that we have the exact same result. Now we have extended the JavaScript API, and we have added this details method, but there is a catch to it. So we are basically, adding one method, and there are chances of name collision, meaning inside the prototype we have a number of methods, right? We have push, map, each, concat, copy within, and these are all the methods provided by the library itself. So chances are that we might override them, right? So in order to prevent this happening, in order to avoid any name collision, we can say if the property or the method does not exist, then only go ahead and extend the functionality. So I can say if Array.prototype.detail is undefined, right? If it is undefined, then only go ahead and add the method. Otherwise, there is no need to extend it. So we are safe here, right? We are not just by mistake overriding any useful and very well tested method. We have a condition here. So if this method does not exist in the prototype of array, then go ahead and create one and use it, right? So we did not have this before. Now we have it. Now we have extended the JavaScript. There is another way of doing the same thing, and that is by using ECMAScript classes. I prefer the second way of doing it, because here we are having to extend the existing, right? But what we can do is that we can simply copy all the methods of array and array.prototype into our own class, and then extend the class with the methods, right? I mean, add methods to that. Let me remove all this stuff, and let me create a very simple class. So let's say this is going to be my array extended class, right? So in ECMAScript we have this class keyword. With the help of this class keyword we can create classes, but it's just a syntactical sugar. I mean, behind the scene, under the hood, like nothing has changed. JavaScript is still prototype based programming language. We have functions, we don't have classes, so it's just a syntactical sugar. And all I can say is that we have extends keyword. Since we have class, so we have extends keyword as well. This is going to be the base class, and I have a superclass. Superclass is array, which means that I have all the features, right, in my base class which are available in the array. Instead of extending the JavaScript array function, let me simply copy the whole definition of the details method and put it inside. We don't need the function keyword, and all we need is the name of the method, and the parenthesis means that, okay, this is going to be a method, and I'm also going to remove everything at the top. So now we have a base class. This base class has all the features of this, and now just like before, let me go ahead and remember that this is still pointing to the my array extended class, right? So we don't need to supply any argument to it. Let me instantiate my class. So I'm going to say my class, and I want to instantiate it with some values. These are 5 values, and if I say array.details, so this is the exact same syntax, right? But so this array is the instance of my extend class, right? And details is the method inside it. So it has access to it. And let me, just like before, let me save the result and console this out. You're gonna see the exact same result this time around also. Yeah, so again, this is in my point of view is a better approach. We are able to use all the methods that Array.prototype has and extending it into my base class prototype, and I don't need to change the syntax much. I can use array.details and it's working. This may be a preferred way, but if for some reason if you don't like doing it, then go back to the previous approach. But in JavaScript it's possible. We can extend existing APIs, and we have class as well in ECMAScript. You can do it this way. So yeah, this is all for today. Thanks for watching. If you found that this video was informative, if you learned anything new out of it, then please don't forget to subscribe the channel. Like always, don't forget to hit the like button. That really motivates me. So thanks again. I'll see you in my next video.